and she sat me down really drunk and she was like, "Soph, are you pregnant?" And I was like, "I'm 11." Something happened where we couldn't pay our rent, so we had to move, and I was so hurt by that because the house that we were in was the longest I've stayed in a house in like ever. It was a while. I went through a few phases there. We literally moved overnight because we were getting evicted again. We were all sleeping in the same room. My mom and her boyfriend and me. We were all sleeping on the same bed. And in the middle of the night, I was woken up because my mom decided it'd be a perfect time to have sex with her boyfriend. So I go into the bathtub with a cup with a blanket, and I'm like, I'm just gonna sleep in the tub. I thought I was having an allergic reaction to the blanket because it started getting hard to breathe. And then my fingertips went numb, and then my face went numb. And it literally felt like a heart attack, where my chest was really tight, my lips started to go numb, and I was like, I had like that tingly sensation like when your foot falls asleep. I was just sitting there, and I texted my aunt, and I said, I'm pretty sure I'm having a panic attack. I said to her, like, I have to get out of here. Like, I feel like I'm gonna die if I stay here, and I have to start focusing on school because I have to go to college. I started going to school for a little bit at my aunt's house. Had my first official good night's sleep at this house, and I was like, okay, can I just stay here? She told me to get involved with DCP&P, two agents that came to our house after school. They took me in to be hospitalized, but I was relieved because I was like, oh my God, I'm finally gonna get put on antidepressants, thank God. But of course, being hospitalized at 16 when your whole life is just school and performing well in school so that you can remain where you are. For me, that was terrible. The first night I cried a lot, and then I remember I woke up the next day and I begged them to let me go back home because it was just a lot for me. Like, I just started thinking about everything that I just did to get here, and I ended up staying there for like a month, I think. She hated when I would talk about being an artist, but she would pretend that she supported it, if that makes sense. Like, I'd never felt like she really fully supported it because she would give me a lot of backhanded compliments. But she would always, put down my choices, or she would want me to be independent, but when I showed independence, she would put me down for it. I start talking about my plans, being like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna go into medical, and then she gets quiet. And then she's like, well, actually, I don't think you can because you just don't have the drive that people do to get into medical. And she was like, like my daughters, they got into law school, and then one is a cop, and then because they have that drive, but you don't have it. And so I'm sobbing in the car, and then she's like, and what do you expect to do? Like, when you go to college, are you gonna go there, realize you can't do it, and then drop out? She was worse than my mother, to be honest. She's really good at drawing people in. But then it became very clear that she just wanted me for money, because even my cousin said it. She told me, she was like, yeah, she just brought you in for money. And I was like, what?
She was my student, AP Biology. She was usually the first one in the class before everyone else got there. So we got a time, some time to chat, and she would tell us whatever was going on. And that is how I found out her aunt was moving into another place, and she didn't know about it. She was supposed to move out in a couple of days.
And when my aunt kicked me out, she was there for me. And I was kind of scared because I'm not used to people being nice.
She didn't know what was going to happen to her. Basically, it was like, oh my God, there's a kid who doesn't even know where they're going to be. I didn't give it much thought, neither did, when I talked to my husband, neither did he. Somebody needs a place, and it's just the two of us. We have space at our home.
And it took me a really long time to be open with a family setting, or to even accept a family setting, and that I could be in a family setting and not be in danger. It was really scary for me for a very long time. Like, I'd have to say until up to this year to experience family being open and loving with each other, because I was always waiting for something bad to happen. Then eventually you start to retrain your mind. So nothing really changes, it's you that changes. You know what I mean? And your environment could be better, but if you're not better, then your environment helps, but not fully. Like, it doesn't resonate with you until you decide. And, just giving myself the time that I needed, and being open with people, which is an important thing. Like, you have to be open with people and let them know what you're going through. Even if they don't understand it, it's good to just let it out. I got involved my junior year of high school. I think we connected, and then they were able to help me a lot with school. It was just nice to know that someone was in my corner. The thought that there was someone who wasn't related to me or anything to do with me just supporting me really helped. Like a stable, support that would always be there because I'm literally in the program, The financial assistance was really great. But NJFC was really good because they were like always in touch with my financial aid advisor, and they would talk without me knowing, and that was a big relief off of me because I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know how to use a debit card when I got to college. I think I'll be forever grateful, to be honest. I didn't know what I was doing. Again, I really, really didn't know what I was doing. I like to do comics and stories that have darker themes. I will draw something a certain way if I'm feeling a certain way. And I don't know when that would come out. It would just be random because I was focusing on fixing so many other parts of myself and dealing with identity issues and dealing with what is trauma and what isn't. And pulling apart myself like string, just trying to put it all back together and figure out who I was in the process, while also going to studio classes. I am very introspective. Being able to talk with myself and to myself just reassures me that I am there for myself. And you'd think that naturally you'd be there for yourself, but you're not always. Some people live against themselves. My favorite part of myself is that I am adaptable. It takes a while, but I think as human beings, we're sort of given this trait to adapt. You can adapt to work with the broken pieces and you can get back up. And being able to be sure of yourself, I think, is one of the most important things ever. Because when you are sure about yourself, no matter what anybody says about you, it doesn't matter because you're like, oh, well, I know I'm not. So, and that is important. It is super important.